right? We already have training, which is close to, we call deep learning too, which is close to the infectious disease outbreak, disease exports for COVID-19. COVID-19 is different from all infectious diseases, X, Y, Z, but I learned something a little different from what we used. That's what should be run, and I can. So here's the deal. By the way, this is a beautiful thing. Suppose, let's take my example here because I don't want you to feel bad. Suppose I have HIV positive. Suppose. We suppose. I don't want to pick something else. So my wife is going to tell me, what? That's natural. The first day in the morning, we just have the false allegation. First day in the morning, I have a low voice in the house. We go to the kitchen, the dining table, who eat what, who drinks what, we don't know. It is me, right? Because I got false allegation. I need to be tested. My wife don't talk. I talk to my boys and kids. Who I just not going to talk for some time. My voices don't. Obviously. I still think this is not going to be true. But it's still voiced out. Right? So what it turned out is, the speech, the way I talk, nervousness, is all about HIV, by the way. It's completely different than I used to talk in the past. Those things we need in terms of data collection from machine learning scientists. It is not just about what clinical doctors take the report from us for all possible testing. How about machine learning guy? So we should be thinking of smart healthcare. My way of talking that morning is horrible, I know, because I made mistakes and false allegation happens. But I still have to test. So I go meet people. I want to be a very nice person because I know I made mistakes, but he's still a nice person. Beautifully walk, because they also see me, he's the guy coming for HIV positive test. Right? They also see me that way, all these hospital people, including the guy in the reception. Oh my God, what am I going to do, right? So I go for all tests, possible tests, and I get the report, which is documents, right? Same thing I talked about. If you look at all these things, basically they're talking about the same event. We test for the same event, and that event is HIV positive. Now we have a deep learning model, nice AI model in here. The model basically giving you an idea of how these data coming from different sources talk about. Make sense? All data coming from different sources, do they talk consistently same? Oh yes, most of this data coming from different sources, they talk about the same. Just follow a red line here. But there are some of the outliers. Maybe I was a little angry with my boys. Kids, irritation. They come, but they did not talk about the event HIV positive, right? But most of the data coming from different sources, they come same. Consistently telling something happens. We call multimodal learning and representation. If you take chest X-ray, they can tell you something is wrong. Second opinion, CT scan, they can still tell you something wrong. Third data type, probably RT-PCR or something. I'm talking about COVID-19. And if you think all these data types tell you the exact same thing, you don't. That's what we want to do, right? So then what happens is, the doctor is going to come. He's going to say, Casey, don't worry, I know what answer now. He's going to pat me first. Casey, don't worry, I got it right. Why is he saying that? Because we humans are sentimentally valued. But he could have said, without looking at me, that could have been faster in terms of population screening, which is we want. If I don't have the results based on the false allegation, my voice in the call to my wife is different. I told you, right? I told you, you never listened to me. Look, I was not not behaving the same in the morning all the way up to the decision-making time. Change. What it does mean is data is important, not just for the doctors, but also for us, meaning machine learning or computer scientists. Look how computer science works. Computer science works everywhere. We would be looking at smart healthcare. If I don't die early, I would definitely make one smart healthcare prototype. This is my intention. I try hard to make money out of it, meaning a grant proposal which is basically bringing easily $50 million up to 100 just to have a prototype ready. This is my game. If you remember, we don't die right away. If we don't die tomorrow. If you remember me, you take care of this one. This is my way of thinking. One day, it is not always looking at doctors, what they need, but also looking at all types of data should be stored and available for everybody because these are our data. We should be able to use that. So I have a hard time working with doctors in this case. Remember, I did talk about active learning. This is me, my son, and my wife. I make my son get trained until 18-year-old. The magic number 18 comes into place because of mistakes. I don't hear. After 18, what did he learn from me and my wife and the teachers? He's going to make his life independent, have a girlfriend, do whatever you like to do. Don't come back to my house. Again, 18 after 18 doesn't mean that he don't make mistakes. He's still making mistakes, but in machine learning world, we call reward-based learning, reinforcement learning. That's what we call it. Right? If you do that, it is okay to go over there. That's why we tested this. We have the mentor for some time, from the first day of the data collection. We mentor for some time. The machine makes mistakes, of course, like doctors making mistakes, and they call Pennsylvania guy. Oh, I didn't know that. And they change the decision after having multiple different data types into play for the decision making. We do the same thing. If the machine makes mistakes, we will have doctors to look into the matter and we change. Right? We change. That way, after mentoring done, my system is on the fly. We used two different data types. I'm talking about multimodal learning and representation. Why am I looking at this is because chest X-ray clinical manifestation due to COVID-19 should be behaving same coming from CT scan. Why not I use two different data types to understand or analyze clinical manifestation due to disease X anyway? That's why we come up with this idea. And remember one thing that we always wanted to prove is cross-population train and test model. I train in India and test in China. Train in China, test in India. That could have been faster to save the lives in Italy. Italian got a big penalty because we were not ready from AI side. It could have been better, not just the news and so on. Right? Way better. That's what we did that one. We got silver lining results. So when to stop mentoring, let's not talk about technicalities, let's talk about this. There is one beautiful work that we did, that's me again. I started this work way before in 2020, immediately COVID-19 kicked us. And we used thousands of data for that one, collecting from everywhere in the world. We got area under the curve, many performances, 99%. I was not really happy because people have died. What did I do? It's just a test. But if I come up with active learning without having data trained, like doctors, I could have managed the same results. It is possible for future epidemics. You don't have to wait for the data. It is not that conventional AI model. It is about serving the society. And I made the deal done. I have a book, very nice book coming up next month. It says active learning to minimize possible risk from future epidemics. It looks like a sentence, but I love the sentence writing. Like before, not AI, but close to human intelligence. This is also a sentence. I love this sentence. The same thing, we have the book coming up. from my lab. I write those books, by the way. Machine learning models. Machine learning, building machine learning models is not the innovation. It is a pressure cooker. Like Garage Boy fixed everything. We have tools ready. We put something to cook. After 5 minutes, if we fire underneath, it's going to be cooked. Do you think my wife is going to eat that one? What kind of smell? What? Nobody's going to do that. But pressure cooker always cook. That's why it is important for faculty and research scientists to understand that it is garbage in, garbage out. Building machine learning models is not innovation. If we don't do that, students will never understand. That makes sense now? Right? That's another book coming out because I see the world is raining like hell. We don't want that world because we need to take care of education for future, the next generation, from AI side. Other side, political side, Prime Minister Modi ji is going to do that. Right? So let's do this one. I did talk about this, and here is a nice deal we should be thinking. A little ambitious. When it comes to big data, we need supercomputing facilities. You have money, you buy. How about having, let's say here, how about having or producing carbon dioxide, meaning carbon a lot? In our real world, when we buy a car, we pay tax for carbon emission. Yes or no? How about supercomputing machine? How can you tell me supercomputing machine can produce carbon too? Yes or no? Yes, sir. Yes. Do we have the tax for those supercomputing owners? No. We have that. We don't even think about it. You think our chief minister can think that also? You think? They are the ones to make policies. But if you look at science, here, 100 megatons of carbon dioxide we emit from every supercomputing facility. I would say, do you take care of those supercomputing people, not the car? Why are you looking for the poor guy? Poor guy has to one small carbon in terms of tax. This is something is wrong there. So it's a time to think of big rich guys, right? They pay more than we do, so our life is relieved. We're poor. People don't have that much ambitions, but what we should be looking at as an academician, we must be minimum 10 years beyond them, so they learn after that. That makes sense? We should be doing it. That's for an academia. Academia, they go by choice. We don't have much money in the academy, but we see a better world. We love to be in academia because we see a better world. Make sense? This should not be the last choice, okay? I didn't get that job and I got to be a teacher. Please don't do that. It should not be the last choice. Academia should go by the choice, not the last choice. By the choice, that's the primary choice. If you look at that, Tesla should be paying a lot of money in terms of carbons. But who cares? Right? At the same time, Facebook, this meta guy, how much supercomputing facility they have, you don't know. ChatGPT. ChatGPT, the large language model, is drinking 500 milliliters of water in every 15 to 20 conversations. Why do we need that? I don't know. Why do we spend that? Because the computer that evaporates, meaning heating. We need to put water in it. Right? That's why we call the supercomputing facility, those computers, drinks a lot of water. We don't have water for people. How about that? Do we really need ChatGPT? From algorithmic side, since I'm an AI scientist, I'm going to be here. Yes, we need it. We want to make sure that we can do it. At the same time, did we start right? What do we do in the universe? We don't have that much water everywhere. Makes sense? This is very important for us to take a look. Meaning, optimized neural network is necessary. Optimized. You're now going to process all neurons that you have, even for a simple, very simple linear problem. That's machine learning, which is I'm doing these days. You have a big network, big network. We talk about neural networks, all trained. Just to ask the simple question: do you think I'm going to spend all neurons to be processed? That's nonsense. We should be looking at optimized neural network. Here, carbon footprint. This is Amazon. Who doesn't do Amazon today? When people say that I'm coming to India, my wife is from Nepal. Okay? Complete her life before she got married. The people, they buy something from Amazon and bringing that back. Amazon has got millions of hits in 2 minutes. It means that if Amazon server is a little slow, nobody will buy it. They're using supercomputing facility. Again, same problem. They produce carbon too. They must be responsible for paying taxes, not the poor guy who just bought the car yesterday. Question is this: why do I have to have that supercomputing facility? Two problems. Having nice coffee with my girlfriend in the morning, or clean the driveway before I go to school and teach early in the morning. I have two tools. One is shovel, other one is phone. Think I take shovel and I go sit in the nice kitchen table, dining table restaurant with my girlfriend. You think she's going to stay for 2 minutes more? You think? Man, these guys, he's sick. Not crazy, he's sick. Okay, see? You're too good, you take care, thank you very much. Life is good. That means I don't know, right? It means I don't know that what to take. I should be taking slow. She's looking at a nice guy. But I'm sick. Right? Which is we call deep learning today. At the same time, if I take spoon, I'm not going to do this one because my wife and the kids, they was peek through the window. What is wrong with the dad? What? Same thing happens at home because I should stay right. A good gentleman at home too. It is important for us. We do science. We still have to know which one to use when. Right? This is a take message. Otherwise, using deep learning everywhere don't make sense because using computing facility too much and destroy the world, which can be done just by school. Here is an example which I did just now. Optimization. This is our neurons. How many neurons do we have? Millions. Just one guy.
Millions.
Yes, too many. Right? Billions, too many. You get this sticker, come over here and finish this one. So, what I'm trying to tell is, if I say, Krishna, let's go for a coffee. Thank you. Let's go for a coffee. Very simple question, right? Krishna, let's go for a coffee. You think he's going to take 2 minutes? He's using all neurons process and what is wrong with him? If he's going to take 2 minutes, then we say he's sick too. Krishna is sick. He should be saying, okay, see, I have something to work. Tomorrow I do it. Look, quick. We do that even though we learn from the day we born. We have wide set of neurons. We don't process all neurons in every aspect. Yes or no? The same thing we should be having in computer science, which is this. I do decision making for every question you ask in less than a second because I use only a few neurons that I got processed. I don't use all of that. Today's world, our neural network is too big, and we use all of that. Because of that, we got to use supercomputers, which is nonsense for computer scientists. We looking at a better world, not just to solve problems. Okay? So here, that's me. I do run. Okay? And I'm also a soccer player. I just played soccer last whole month. And I win the league. All the time I win. I have the successful gene. That's what people say for President Trump. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Sir explained AI in a very interactive way. He related AI with our day-to-day life. So thank you very much, sir. So do you have any?
It is okay to go for basics, generalized AI. A lot of books, they come from Stanford YouTube channel. You probably want to take a look at them. Reading books. Most of us who wrote or published books, most of us wrote confusing mathematical equations, wrong equations. Too many. Too many, that's why in my life, in teaching, I never followed books. Never. It is not good to point, here is a mistake for somebody who already published a book, but I don't follow. So I'm reluctant to tell you that's the book, but I would love to tell you that Stanford has got a generalized AI YouTube channel. Basics, beautiful one, every weekend. Thank you, sir. You got this sticker. Come on. She's gonna say stop, I freeze up.
I have a question. Like Stephen Hawking means in the past have already warned mankind that AI could eliminate the human race from the existence. At the same time, for robotics, that like Sir Isaac Asimov have those three robotics laws that still we use for any robotics application throughout the world. Being a storyteller, we have got those laws from him. So, is there any way for having such type of laws, like for AI, like just what we have, means what Sir Isaac Asimov have done for robotics?
Thank you for that. Very ambitious ask, and it is very important to notice when this statement was taken from one paragraph and connect with the other paragraph. This happens mostly in the newspaper. The politician says something, the half of the sentence is taken away, and the second half we connect with something else. Most of times, and this is a part of the same thing. He did not say, honestly, that it's going to be crazy. What he said is the power of AI is infinite. Okay, let's take it positive. The power, the strength of AI is infinite. Of course, there will be bad actors. Okay? Take advantage of how to make money out of our data. But if we see the power, that's why the automation, Frankenstein, everything I did talk about that way. Yes, we should not be using AI to make a partner, otherwise the human doesn't exist. The perfectness is there. That could have been better than my life. But how about next generation? Bad actors always happen. That's why we come up with the cybersecurity, this and that. Yes, it's because they want to make money. They know how to use the tool for a different stuff. Here is an example. Beautifully done. You have mobile phone? Yes, you do have. You have the app. The app says there is a radio button, GPS on or not on, because your wife would like to see where you are. Let's say you just want to hang around with your nice ex-student. I didn't say girlfriend, come on. Ex-student. just for a single day, you still know you have a family. I didn't say nothing wrong. Example. But if you don't turn off that GPS radio button, I would know where you are. So you should know when to use. That's what he said. Right? The tool is there. You should know when to use. That's why gun is still essential for us, but we don't get the gun to the kids. Make sense? The same GPS location. If you want to hang it around, you better know GPS turn off and you say I'm in Mumbai, but you're not. How about that? You get it right? Beautiful. You get a sticker, by the way. I love that. We have time. If we have time, we take it. Because you are the guy.
So you talked about ChatGPT consuming a lot of water. So there's been research at MIT regarding liquid neural networks, which reduces the number of neurons by tens of magnitudes. So I think going forward we won't have concerns regarding energy. So what are your thoughts on that?
You talk about heating. Isn't it concept? Is that it? One more time, I didn't get it right.
Sir, liquid neural networks, I think research is ongoing.
Correct, which is another version of generalized AI. My concern is the same thing, that's what the picture is about. We're not going to use all neurons. We just use the neurons, the set of neurons that we need to use. That way, we don't need to process or take care of everybody. We call cache memory, by the way, in this organization, in computer architecture. Right? We have the memory here. I did learn everything from when I was 5. Before that, I forget. But I don't use everything when you ask me something. Right? Sometimes it's hard to find where it was. Oh yeah, I remember, you know that? And we ask, but we know pointer. Learning is about finding pointer. If I go to the library, I don't know you guys go to the library because I'm digitized, right? If I really don't know something, I still know what the book looks like and which eye it is like. That's what we call pointer in computer architecture. That is faster. I cannot remember everything, but I know it is. That is even faster than you don't read. Otherwise, you start from first book to 2,000 million books in the library. We can do that because that I have second one. There's number somewhere. You know, those things we need. Yes, we need to have generalized AI. Liquid neural network is one of them, which is beautiful. Thank you. You have one sticker. I have some more lips. 2 more lips. 3 more lips. Come over here. Go, quick.
So my question is about data. So we take data for machine learning and active learning from ethical sources like the internet or the government data. But it is also possible that data has been manipulated by the government or let's say a powerful structure. So is it possible to identify the hidden, let's say trends or manipulation?
Yes,
that exists any?
Thank you. That's we call security. Sure. That's mostly used by bad actors. The same model, if I come up with deviated data, meaning not the one that we targeted for, the model is going to behave differently. It is us to take care of data as smart as possible. That's why Washington DC, our House representatives, they're looking at ethical issues starting from data privacy. If I give you right data, you obviously don't have those bad actors come into play. Instead of looking at you, who are tooling, meaning who develop algorithms, let's look after the right data for the right purpose. If I change the data, model is going to behave different, which is, we call active learning. Over time, I learn, meaning I learn every day as soon as I get things right. But I also can learn wrong things if the wrong things come into play, which is I don't know. So there must be control. But the problem in AI ethics is here. Now let's become a little politics here. In Middle East or Abu Dhabi, they get salary with no tax. Everything comes in the pocket, heavy pocket. Go home, keep it in the treasure box. Right? But here you pay tax, right? You pay tax. Everybody pays tax. You don't want to, but you have to. Right? I don't want to pay tax too. We pay tax too in the States. Do you think the same regulations of AI ethics going to happen in the world? Do you know SCI Hall? SCI Hall, because you don't have to pay for the paper. But one lady from Russia, he's giving you for free. She's giving, yes? You know that. There is $1 million target for the lady, nobody cares. Nobody cares. That means AI model can be hosted from anywhere in the world. At the same time, we have a policy from country to country that vary. In Middle East, we don't have to pay tax. Luxury life. I have a Ferrari. Every teacher should have a Ferrari. Here, teacher is going to have the Tata, Suzuki. Right? Not Ferrari. That's why AI model and ethics is very, very tough. And I don't think it's going to be manageable. The only way to manage is data privacy. You don't need to. You don't have to jump, but we should have a conventional academic rhythm, or we call pedagogical rhythm to improve the society. You don't have to jump and break your bone. No, you don't do that. That's why my grandfather said, but he still, I want to run. Make money. That makes sense again? Russian lady give us free papers. Right? Nobody cares that. Middle East don't pay tax, we pay tax. That's basically international jurisdiction problem. Who's going to manage this? I don't think. Our prime minister from here is going to manage Russian people. Russian cannot manage other people. It's going to be a mess. Again, let's not go back this side. We have enough problems to fix the nation, the world. We just want to look at the better world. Because we don't want to get caught by this house. All right, so you have this one. I have two. If we have time, go for two. Otherwise, I throw your cats. How about that? Thank you.
Sir. Sir, I
Here
have
is.
a question.
I go back.
Regarding the question, the AI is developing very fast. Will you be able to see cyborgs in near future?
Will what?
Cyborgs. AI human.
AI?
AI human.
AI? Correct. So you become Frankenstein in this era, right? Which is nice. AI human is very close to what Elon Musk is looking at, right? He's talking about neurospace. He's talking about computer scientists should come up with neuroscience measures and come up with the transfer learning instead of going to cemetery and no transfer learning from my neurons to my generation. Right? How about we have neuroscience come into play, integrate, and do that? That is possible. But why we don't know. In a movie from German scientists, there's a nice movie, the guy can transfer the neurons to other guy and he behaves exactly the same way, which we see that was the movie, right? It is possible, but when it happen, I don't know. I'm working like you. We have no difference. Thank you very much.
Many questions students mind, but due to lack of active learning, I was thinking about how do we pre-process the data? How do we clean the data on the go?
Right, this is a beautiful thing as I've been working since 2020. Active learning, how to process data. We don't process data. So let's say here's an example. I'm trained doctor. That means we have pre-trained deeply neural network. Understanding something about infectious disease, but not actual COVID-19 or new things coming out. What do I do is, if I got this sample that day, right? If I get this sample that day, this is unknown sample, very unusual, really unusual. I see this is not, I have never seen before. As a doctor, same thing by the neural network that you have. If it is not seen before, I keep in one pocket. At least that day you see, right? Second day, you see the same guy. Who? I see other guy. You keep the same pocket. Third day, same guy. What happened? That's how they took 6 months to understand this is COVID-19. Why not we took machine planted there? So third guy, same thing. Fourth guy, same thing. Meaning unusual with respect to what I have learned before. Makes sense? Unusual. That is we call one cluster. In terms of machine learning lingo, we call clustering. Everything in this pocket are unusual. But over time, 200 samples I learned. Unusual than before, but I still learn. What do they look identical but different than others? After having 500 samples in the pocket, I can learn easily. Did I not segregate the problem from usual happenings? Yes. And if I get pneumonia case, this is going to be in this pocket because I've seen that. Do you need data processing? No. If I make mistake, I have doctors like my parents mentoring me. When to stop mentoring? That time when the machine don't make that much mistakes and let it fly. And then at the same time, if you keep making mistakes once or twice, we have reinforcement learning mechanism based on rewards. I can move around. Not this was that. And this is beautiful. This is a conceptual phenomenon. Like humans teach kids, doctors teach the machine until sometime will fly. It works perfectly fine. Thank you very much. So I think good job.
Thank you. It was a great. It was a great speech from Professor K.C. Santosh.